From Cold War legends to modern battlefield beasts, this is the ultimate journey through every helicopter ever built by Mill. Heavy lifters, attack machines, transport giants, experimental prototypes, we're covering them all. First up, attack helicopters. Mi-24 Hind, Mill's legendary gunship that's part flying tank, part troop transport. Those distinctive stub wings and tandem cockpit became the terrifying face of Soviet air power worldwide for decades. Mi-24A, the original Hind variant with that weird greenhouse-style cockpit. Mill was still figuring out the attack helicopter formula here, but you can see the gunship DNA already forming. Mi-24 Super Hind, South African upgrade package that dragged the classic Hind design into the 21st century. Modern avionics, better weapons integration, proof that Mill's basic design was solid enough to keep upgrading. Mi-25, export designation for the combat-proven Mi-24D variant. Mill sold these all over the developing world. They've seen brutal action in Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria, you name it. Still flying combat missions today. Mi-28 Havoc, Mill's dedicated attack bird designed from scratch. No troop compartment, just pure gunship fury. That titanium bathtub cockpit can shrug off 23 cannon rounds. They call it the Havoc for good reason. Mi-28NM, the Night Hunter upgrade with millimeter-wave radar and massively upgraded engines. Mill basically made it an all-weather day-night killing machine. Russia's most advanced attack helicopter currently flying combat operations. Mi-35, modern Hind variant with completely upgraded avionics and weapon systems. Mill kept refining the proven design. Shorter wings, better systems, still carries 8 troops while bringing serious firepower. AH-2 Sabre, Brazil's heavily modified Mi-35 packed with French and South African technology, shows how incredibly adaptable Mill's basic airframe really is. Operators can customize the hell out of these machines. Continuing with medium military transport and assault helicopters. Mi-4, Mill's first big transport helicopter from 1952 with a radial piston engine. Basically copied the American H-19 Chickasaw, but became the workhorse that put Soviet helicopters on the global map. Mi-8 Hip, the most produced helicopter in history, period. Mill absolutely nailed the medium transport formula on this one. Flies everywhere from Antarctica to active war zones. Does everything reliably for decades. Mi-8 Terminator. They call this beast the Terminator for a damn good reason. Mill took the reliable Mi-8 frame and packed it with rockets, missiles, and armor plating. Transport helicopter that fights back hard. Mi-9, airborne command post variant stuffed with radios and communications equipment. Mill designed it so commanders could direct entire battles from the sky while staying mobile and protected. Mi-17 Hip H updated Mi-8 with more powerful TV3 engines, and tail rotor moved to the opposite side. Mill made it specifically for hot and high operations. Crushes thin mountain air, no problem whatsoever. Mi-171, export version of the Mi-17 that's become incredibly popular with operators worldwide. Mill's reputation for reliability means countries trust it for everything from cargo hauling to medical evacuation. Mi-171A2, modernized variant with upgraded VK2500 engines and glass cockpit. Mill brought the workhorse into the 2020s with better performance and reduced pilot workload for complex missions. Mi-172, VIP and passenger transport variant with comfortable cabin interiors instead of cargo space. Mill proved their workhorses could be dressed up nice for executive and government transport roles. Mi-38, Mill's modern medium transport with composite rotor blades and completely advanced avionics. Better range, more comfortable, significantly safer. represents their next-generation transport philosophy moving forward. Next up, heavy lift and strategic transport helicopters. Mi-6 Hook, world's largest helicopter when it first flew in 1957. Those stub wings actually provided real lift in forward flight. Mill went absolutely massive, and somehow it worked. Thing hauled incredible loads effortlessly. Mi-10 Hark. Mill took the Mi-6 airframe and added super tall landing gear for carrying bulky cargo slung underneath. Looks like a giant flying crane insect, but it could haul prefab buildings and heavy machinery. Mi-10K flying crane version with a rear-facing cockpit, so the pilot could watch the load during placement. Mill designed it specifically for construction work requiring precision placement of heavy stuff. V-12, largest helicopter ever built in history, period. Mill mounted two complete Mi-6 rotor systems on massive wings in a side-by-side layout. Absolute unit that still holds world records, though only two prototypes flew. Mi-26 Halo, current heavy lift champion with an 8-blade main rotor system. Mill designed it to completely replace the Mi-6, can carry 20 tons internally or sling load even more externally. Nothing else comes remotely close. Mi-26T2, modernized variant with glass cockpit and upgraded engines for better performance. Mill keeps improving their heavy lifter to maintain its absolute dominance in the strategic transport role. Let's move on to naval and anti-submarine warfare helicopters. Mi-14 Haze, amphibious anti-submarine version based on Mi-8 frame with a boat hull added. Mill made it land on water, hunt submarines, sweep mines. Soviet Navy's primary workhorse maritime helicopter. Mi-14 BT, mine countermeasures variant towing heavy magnetic sweeping equipment behind it. Mill specialized it for the dangerous work of clearing naval mines. Requires precise hovering over open water. Moving on to light utility, observation and training helicopters. Mi-1 Hare, Mill's very first production helicopter from 1948. Simple three-seater that launched the entire company. Over 2,500 built total. It proved Soviet rotary-wing aviation was genuinely viable. Mi-2 Hoplite, light twin-turbine utility bird actually built in Poland under license. Mill designed it but licensed production to PZL. Became hugely popular in both civilian and military roles across the Eastern Bloc. Mi-3, more powerful evolution of the Mi-1 for medical evacuation and utility work. Mill kept improving their light helicopter line steadily, though the Mi-2 eventually became far more popular. Mi-34 Hermit, light training helicopter that can actually perform aerobatics, loops, rolls, the works. Mill designed it for pilot training with a side-by-side cockpit configuration and forgiving handling characteristics. VRT 500, modern light coaxial design with sleek carbon fiber lines and side-loading doors. Mill is aggressively pushing into urban air mobility market with this futuristic-looking civilian transport platform. Let's move on to unmanned aerial vehicles. VRT 300, unmanned coaxial UAV specifically designed for Arctic monitoring and autonomous cargo delivery missions. Mill's diving deep into autonomous systems. This thing carries serious payload without needing any pilot aboard. And our last category is experimental prototypes and concept projects. Mi-V5, proposed single-engine medium transport that never left the drawing board. Mill was exploring radically different configurations, but this particular ambitious design never got built or funded. Mi-V7, wild experiment with tip-jet rotors, small engines mounted on the blade tips themselves. Mill tried it but discovered jet rotors are mechanically complex and incredibly fuel-thirsty. Fascinating technological dead end. Mi-V8, direct developmental ancestor to the legendary Mi-8 transport. Started as single-engine, evolved to twin turbines. Mill's development process visible here. You can see the classic transport silhouette taking shape. Me V12. Early 1950s heavy lift concept study, not the giant twin rotor from 1967. Mill was already thinking about massive cargo capacity when heavy lift helicopters were barely even a thing yet. Me-24 prototype. First flying prototype that eventually became the Me-24 Hind gunship. Mill's initial attempt at creating an armed troop transport. This single design revolutionized combat helicopter doctrine worldwide forever. Me-30. Tiltrotor project trying to combine airplane cruising speed with helicopter vertical takeoff capability. Mill explored this ambitious concept extensively, but never built a full-scale flying prototype. Russia's V-22 that wasn't. Me-32. Absolutely gigantic three-rotor design for moving main battle tanks and heavy equipment loads. Mill went even bigger than the Me-26. On paper, the triangular rotor layout was absolutely wild to see. Me-40. Heavily armed transport concept carrying a full infantry squad plus serious direct firepower. Mill was evolving the armed transport idea way beyond the Hind into next-generation assault helicopter thinking. Me-42. NOTAR exploration using ducted fan anti-torque instead of tail rotor. Mill investigated quieter, significantly safer designs by eliminating the vulnerable tail rotor entirely. Interesting direction they ultimately didn't pursue further. Me-54. Medium twin-engine concept prioritizing modern safety features and passenger comfort over raw performance. Mill was thinking hard about next-generation utility platforms with dramatically better ergonomics for crews. Me-58. Wild idea to use attack helicopter aerodynamics for high-speed passenger transport missions. Mill wanted to leverage gunship power and speed for fast civilian travel. Unique approach that stayed purely conceptual. Me-X1. Advanced concept with counter-rotating coaxial rotors plus pusher propeller for forward thrust. Mill was exploring maximum possible aerodynamic efficiency using cutting-edge rotor technology for unprecedented speed and lift capability. From the first Me-1 to experimental concepts pushing physics, Mill helicopters shaped rotary aviation worldwide. Soviet ingenuity, brutal reliability, designs that refuse to quit. That's the Mill legacy still flying today. And that brings us to the end of today's story. If this video moved you, surprised you, or taught you something new, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you love content like this, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.